The Driving While Awesome podcast is recorded live to SD card at the Beeline Motorclub in Santa Cruz, California.
The Corvette driver is never passing me, dude. The Corvette driver is in the left lane doing 5 under.
Jenna?
Something.
I like how you asked that so quiet.
Yeah, why are you so quiet?
Because it felt like a pretty bad joke.
Hagerty Drive Share is the coolest online car sharing platform around. Renters can find special cars that bring out the awesome in every moment, while owners list their rad rides to earn extra cash to fund their passion. Browse, choose, and cruise at driveshare.com or download the app.
Welcome to Driving While Awesome, part of the Hagerty Podcast Network. My name is Warren.
I am Lane.
And I'm Nick.
We are joined once again by Nick of Beeline Motorclub
West
Labs.
Dude, stop.
Yes.
You guys need to stop. Yes. This needs to stop. I don't like this at all.
Art is ill tonight. He was
Illmatic.
He was on a cruise, but I
Got a Disney virus.
think he was probably sick before the cruise, but the cruise didn't help. That's what we're thinking.
For the plane.
Or
Is
the plane.
he sick from the dig or is it the flu?
It ain't about you or your bitch ass crew. That's pretty much it. Let's get right into business here.
Yeah. Let's get after it.
Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I was going to have a sip of beer there, but you caught me out. I'm
That's-
doing great.
Nice.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, we
I,
can see your work, your labors back behind us for the
things are
viewers.
happening. Yep. I've been busy this week doing a lot of wiring or preparation for wiring on Ollie's Escort, which you can see behind us here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got your M3s getting ready to go up in the air to get some exhaust stuff ordered.
Someday.
But our Benpack lift had a leak, the new lift, so they sent us out some warranty components, and we need to put those in before we put your car in the air. So
Brand new Benpack lift, no bueno.
it did have a leak in the cylinder. They were really nice, and they send me out the parts fast. It's nice that support's here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But we
Well, better than at first. You said they were back ordered and
Well, yeah, the cylinders, they've been selling lifts, I think, as quick as they can make them. And so the cylinder was back ordered for like a week or so, but they got it to me pretty quickly. It's sitting
because they don't want to stop like sending you one like that stops the whole sale of a
prevents
lift.
the lift going out.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
So, but yeah, it feels good. We're like starting to do some work here. So
Did a little organizing, reorg in the studio here. It's looking better.
I don't know if this shot gets any of the
It does not.
It doesn't.
stuff over Lane's shoulder, but it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
You can see
New
it
Balances over there, looks like.
Driving While Awesome Instagram. The New Balances are tucked under that.
That's a tuck.
Locker pretty nice.
Okay.
That's a tuck.
Yeah, they're peeking out.
They are. Just to let you know they're there. It's all good.
Jeez.
It's all good, dude.
Warren, that's incremental improvement.
Passive aggressive, right?
Well, I didn't see him until now.
He's kind of passive
He wants
aggressive.
all of the I's dotted and all the T's
I was
crossed.
scanning
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
I like this is also going to be an e-bike repair shop.
No, just for mine. Just one.
Oh, Lane doesn't get any love?
Well, Lane,
No.
if he needs to bring an
I think I
e-bike
can
in,
put
fix
disc brakes
it.
on.
I think you can figure it out.
I
yeah.
can figure that out.
We'll see.
But Lane does have like a fleet of e-bikes now, so
Yeah.
we could require
Actually, he's going to need to know how to do that because they're going to happen a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as it makes sense. I didn't really think about it before I started riding one every day, but the
The-
brake pads.
Yeah,
they
the
go fast.
bikes go 30 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So
and then you're grabbing a big handful, especially with all the hills we have.
yeah.
Why are the brakes so bad?
I think they're just, bicycle brakes, and you don't do a lot of 35 mile
With
an hour
heavy
deceleration,
bikes.
like heavy decels. Like coming downhill on Western, I'm doing 40.
On
Grabbing a
65
big
pound bikes.
handful of
Yeah.
brakes. Yeah,
They also need to have regen. Maybe that's the
that would be
next level.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I don't think it'd be much, but definitely wouldn't have to use your brakes as much, right?
yeah. But I ordered a big brake kit for mine, so pretty stoked on that. We'll see how that goes.
Nice.
On his Zoos.
On the Zoos, yeah.
Zoos 1250? What is it?
1100.
1100. Where did I get that from?
Oh,
They look cool.
it's kind of like a Ducati 1100.
Yeah, they definitely look cool.
Less valves.
They're pretty fun.
You guys want to answer some questions?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
We cannot organize the questions.
Oh, that's cool.
Can't sort them at all. So I'll just
Sometimes
start.
you can.
I'll just start at the bottom. Swedish Cadillac says, I just read an advertisement where the seller described his 914 as having a perfect hellhole. Lols. What are some of the funniest car descriptions you've seen in the wild? Well, he knows what that is, doesn't he? Maybe not.
I think he probably does, but it just sounds weird, right?
Perfect.
It
Perfect
does sound
hellhole.
weird. Yeah.
Perfect
It's like-
hellhole is funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does. If he's reading advertisements for a 914, then he knows what a hellhole is. But for the listeners, That's just the battery tray, like
It's
underneath
it's
it.
actually under the battery tray
Yeah.
and down under, and that's
Classic.
So
it's called the
for
hell
its
hole.
Ease of repair.
Yeah, exactly. You have to.
Maximum
It's a place that
rust.
rusts really bad, and it's the battery tray rusts out because the battery acid, and
Yeah.
then it rusts out, and then all the juices flow down, and it's basically the path
It's flowing juices,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. That does
flowing
it.
juices,
Corrosive
of course.
flowing juices.
Just like
unfortunately.
Third Eye Blind says, or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. How about that concert in Vegas that's coming up? There's like this angst fest, I'm going to call it, but it's
What?
huge show this weekend, and it's the lineup. The poster's insane, but it's like Green Day, Blink 182, Lit. I mean, it's all the bands.
Yeah.
I got to show you the poster link.
Oh
'cause
wow!
you'll
I
trip
gotta
out.
see this, dude.
Yeah.
Angst Fest, huh?
Well, that's not what it's really called.
Okay.
There's a lot of like middle-aged people there that probably like had black hair and like hated their parents.
Oh, they
Do you-
painted their fingernails black,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure that. I still have the Craigslist search on for Tundras, and we got a nice one this weekend.
Very nice.
And the description was, I can't remember exactly what it was. Nice Tundra, blah blah blah.
4x4.
Baby
cab.
/ D, baby D.
Baby apostrophe D.
Was it baby?
No, it was
no
dash.
slash.
It
It
was
was,
a dash.
dash.
Baby, what does that mean?
Baby,
Baby D.
Baby D.
Babied.
It had been baby.
Babied.
Oh, baby.
Baby.
D.
Baby
Wow.
dash D.
Baby.
That's heavy.
baby.
dude.
Baby.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Who's Baby
It
D?"
was in like
you know?
Stockton or something.
Wow.
Does
Well,
that explain it?
by the way, dude, I'm looking at this poster for that show. It's
you
called
found it?
When We Were Young,
Yeah, that's it. That's
and it's a Live Nation show. Green Day, Blink 182,
Oh yeah, when we were
30 Seconds to Mars, The Offspring, Good Charlotte. Let's see other highlights: Rise Against, Thrice,
There's a bunch. in
Yellow
there.
Card, MXPX, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Newfound Glory.
Show Nick the poster though. Just like how
Bowling
Kate-
for Soup. I mean, this is huge. No, not Tiger Army. I thought it was Tiger
Ben's
Army.
booking his tickets now.
Oh, there's some others.
he's getting a private jet.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but just the poster itself like looks insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Funniest car descriptions you've seen in the wild? I like. There's a few other ones that's like.
This one stands out from high school, and I don't know why it stands out so much, but there was this. I think it was a Porsche, and it was like it said all this stuff, and then it goes the price. It said some rust, hence the price. And I always thought that was like a interesting way of describing it. Basically, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, here's why it's this cheap. Basically,
Right. Can
and just saying hence in a like a 25 word ad in the paper. I think
Oh,
this
it
was
was
like
in
in
the
the paper or Auto Trader or
Yeah,
what.
yeah,
This
yeah.
this was when we were in high
Was
school.
the
Yeah.
car was like in Berkeley
It's
or
just one of those
something?
things like you
Professor.
wasted. Like usually it's very succinct. Like
hence.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Some rust, hence the price.
Thus,
I mean, they said hence, and they put the
Henceforth.
price. They didn't have to put the price. Like there's a few words there, dude. They
They're
use
just
some
saying
words.
it's
hitherto
cheap.
for
Yeah.
It's cheap because
It reminds me. A friend of mine, this girl Joanne, was renting a room in her apartment in her apartment house, and she got this letter, or she got this email, and it's this girl from England, I imagine, and she goes, "I want the room. I will be there in a fortnight."
oh,
And that was like the email is like, "I will take the room. I will be there in a fortnight."
so she was from the past.
yeah.
End of email.
Email
And
came
Joanne's
from
like, "What am I? What
turn
is
of
she?
the
She just
century.
going to show up in?" And we look in 2 weeks. Is she just going to show up in 2 weeks? Like,
Is it 2 weeks? I always wonder. Isn't there some
fortnight
other?
is
Yeah,
2
fortnight.
weeks.
What's a score?
4 score.
Yeah, well, I know four
I don't
score.
Oh, what is a score?
Is it a month?
Is it a baker's dozen?
I think it's a month. It's a long period.
No, I don't. I think a score is just a number.
That's
It's
funny.
not
I've
like
never.
It's a time period.
I've
think-
never even thought to look that up.
We had to recite the
Four score in
Gettysburg
7
Address.
years is like saying 4 times 50 plus 7 is what I think. I think a score is like
Wait, what's 50 plus
20.
7?
4 times 50 plus 7. You know what I'm saying? A score is is like the multiply 4 of this unit of measure
I'm looking it
Of
up, guys.
days.
I'm looking
So
it
what
up.
are you saying though? Because he says
Or of
4 score
years.
and 7 years ago.
4 score plus 4
Yes, score.
multiplier plus 7 years
No,
ago.
I think score is a time.
No, I think a score is like 20. It's like a
So 4 times 20
Yeah.
or whatever. the
87.
score
Yeah,
is.
dude, it's
87 years
literally
ago.
4 times 20. It's 80.
very nice. 87 years ago.
So it's 20.
He's just a weird
A score is
old-timey
20.
Score
guy.
is 20.
20
Instead
years.
of just saying 87 years ago, he said, hence the price.
Yeah,
Four
exactly.
score and
Instead of
hellhole.
saying there's rust
yeah.
or rust.
Yeah,
The
4
ones
score
that-
and 7 years ago.
The ones that kill me are easy miles. You know, like
Oh,
Yeah. How about
all high
original
miles.
miles?
original miles is good. I like that because otherwise, how do you get like secondhand mileage? And then anything where they say low mileage and it's over 200,000 miles on any car, no matter what.
Oh, and then
Drives
they
me
go
crazy.
And then they go, well, for the year. Because it's like low miles
'Cause
for
it's-
the year, 348,000 miles.
They base it on the
60-year-old
12,000
car.
Yeah, they base it on
And-
12,000 mile
Yeah,
average.
12,000
right?
miles a year, yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a million miles, but it's a 1901. Like, cool, dude.
Super low miles.
Let's see here. Toasted Boot says, what's your expert opinions on the Cadillac Celestiq design? Do you feel it's the right step forward for EVs visually?
Is it a Celestiq?
Is it Celestiq?
Celestiq. I don't know.
I haven't heard it said.
IQ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible
Celestiq.
name, and I don't
Name's-
think it's a great looking car.
The name's not great.
They don't bother me. I haven't seen a Celestiq in person. What's the other one?
Well, I mean, they're not real yet. I mean,
I've seen
cheaper one is the,
Celestiq was just announced, like
but the Celestiq's the $300,000 one.
They just did like a
maybe
debut
it's
with
really
it.
long.
All I know
like
is that
hatchback thing?
apparently you can customize it more than a Rolls.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard. Highly customizable,
Those,
which
uh,
means they'll lose
Those
money.
rear
on
lights
everyone.
are crazy. They go onto the side of the car. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess you're saying you don't mind it.
I don't mind it because basically it's a crossover, you know, overall that architecture is a crossover design and it
But
kind
it
of
looks more like a wagon.
it looks more like a wagon,
lower.
which I
It's way
appreciate.
lower,
yeah. But I got to sit in the cheaper one. It's not the Celestiq, it's the something else. But it looks very similar, has a very similar design language. And then we got to look at that and then the BMW competitor, and the Cadillac was by far nicer in almost every way. So I will say that it's not an appliance. It has a little bit more style, but
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me.
It almost looks like it is reaching way back to some style cues from the 20s.
You know what? It looks French to
from-
me.
It does. It
It
looks,
looks.
a Citroen.
It looks very
vibe to it.
Citroen.
Between the size and like the
proportions and
kind of
stuff.
crazy, almost Finnish styling with the taillights and
Which
stuff.
I
Crazy
like.
long
And I know Warren's
wheelbase,
into those.
extended.
Pre-wars.
I appreciate that stuff, but who is going to buy this car?
That's what I'm.
It's a question.
that's
I mean,
the big
lots
question.
of people buy Rolls's.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people buy
things,
Escalades, but they plummet
Yeah.
in value immediately, and they're
And they buy Escalades for $100,000. They
Yeah,
don't buy
Escalades are like
Celestiqs,
80 to 100,
Celestiqs for
200,
$300,000 or whatever.
300 or whatever.
I
it's
mean,
gonna
I
be.
think did Lincoln debut some really bold concept thing? as
Yeah,
well
it's
this
the most
year?
concept-y concept
I
ever.
know, but like I feel like these American luxury brands that keep looking at
Yeah, but you know what? They never do it, and that's why.
$300,000 price point.
But that's the thing. They always they have never built that, so like it's hard to just come out and do it. Like they needed to do it a long time ago. They need to build like $150,000 car. They've never even done that.
Yeah.
So the
It
other
does
one
seem
is
like they're leapfrogging.
Yeah,
this is the other one. It's the Lyric with a Q, and it has similar design
yeah.
language, but they call it an SUV.
But that one's very like that is
That looks
very
pretty
subdued,
close
very
to
like
production.
Cadillac,
very
right?
subdued, and like that looks like a production.
I
car.
believe it is a
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
full
that
production.
is, and
Yeah.
that is, and Mary Barra or whatever. She's like
Mary
she's making
Berry?
bold claims, dude. That
But it's
they're
got
gonna.
that same C-pillar kind of treatment.
It does kind of the
Like
tail
weird
light.
That's
little-
the Great British Bake Off.
She claims they're gonna sell more than Tesla and all this. Like they're gonna take over the.
Maybe there's some
pretty
like,
bold though.
Maybe there's some fleet sale thing that they're going to do, and it's going to be in every Hertz.
Hey, they gotta-
Isn't that such a GM way to win?
Totally.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
Totally.
selling to a lot of fleets. Oh, cool, dude. Because the Malibu's
Dude, they're just renting.
Yeah, what
regarded
about-
as a great car.
Well, what about that trivia we had not long ago about Malibu selling like 65,000 units
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a quarter or something?
yeah.
Crazy. Bobby Reed with the car says, who is your favorite band when you got your first car, and what medium did you use to listen to them in your car?
It's a good question, man.
That's a great question.
It was all about mixtapes back then.
Yeah.
These are cassettes.
Yep,
And
I had a cassette player.
There weren't a lot of like buying tapes. It was like a lot of mix, a lot of copies.
Yeah.
it was
There was a
definitely-
lot of shared stuff. So
Yep.
it would be like one person made a mixtape, because making a mixtape would take like 2 weeks, dude. And then you'd get like the perfect, you'd make one and it would just be passed along.
Well, then
So
you'd copy that.
all my friends had the same mixtapes.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
all had like Rap Mix 1, Rap Mix 2, and then we had like Cruise Mix, or, whatever we had.
Yep.
Um,
maybe a reggae, maybe a classic rock in there.
yeah.
It's hard to say like favorite band at the time. I was really into Pearl Jam. I still am. I mean, but that's 96, 97. Lane was 1985. How old are you when you got?
Yeah.
What age is it?
I am like 5 months older than you or something.
Playing had the 8 tracks for sure.
Yeah, but as far as like favorite bands at that time,
It's hard for me to remember like what I listened to.
like
Yeah,
Sublime.
I'm really trying.
Sublime was popular.
Super
That was definitely in
popular.
rotation in my car.
And that's a band like Santa Cruz Roots. And then that, like, there's all the reggae and ska and punk and I don't know.
Yeah, I listened to ton of stuff. I mean, when you're in high school, you're listening to
Dude,
music
I listened to
constantly.
everything. Like I remember listening to Tom Petty's new album, having that album that came out with smoking their joint and everything. That was a big one.
Yeah, you grew up in Florida.
And I had a very different media.
El
for my
Camino
first
with the
car.
mullet, or what were you rocking?
No. I had a Ford Probe GT, black on that.
What year?
Cat skin leather Ford. The Ford Explorer leather.
Cat
It was-
skin?
It was gray.
Like
it
a
was,
calico or something?
Yeah. No, I mean it was just like it was that weird, probably
Like
faux
MB
leather.
Tex kind of stuff. What year was it?
It was the swoopy body style. So I think it was a 93.
The one that looked like the Mazda MX-6 and was based
It was
in the
an
same chassis.
It was an MX-6 chassis and engine, yeah.
But it looked a lot
different
like
styling. It's a little swoopier. Pop-up headlights. But I had a Kenwood MP3 6-disc changer in the back, and so the head unit would play MP3 CDs, and you could put like 700 songs on
that
6
was crazy.
CDs. And so, but it was very different. And so I never really had tapes. I remember having tapes like before driving.
you're a
but
little
not,
younger.
Yeah, not in the car.
Yeah.
It was always CDs, which was, by the way, such a shitty format for driving around. Everyone would just scratch the hell out of them.
they'd
People had them in
skip.
this sun
Well, and you
visors,
had to have
or
the
you-
big- I
you
had
the
the
huge
huge
case.
case,
You would
yeah.
go to the beach once. It would
Yeah.
get sand in
Yeah,
it, and
tattered.
then all 200 CDs.
Not just that, like CD
Game over.
players, CD decks were expensive.
Yeah.
And to get one that didn't skip was a pricey thing at the time.
But at the time, I would say probably like a lot of punk rock and a lot of like kind of metal, like Rage Against the Machine and NoFX and White Zombie, Converge,
nice, dude.
stuff like that. I was had some time to think about what I was listening to, and then the older stuff too. Like I was always into like Hendrix and things, but a lot of like metal, probably more metal than I listen to now.
Yeah, I just remember in high school, it was all mixtapes in my car, at least. So it would be like rap going straight into like Tom Petty, going straight to Sublime, going, it would be all over the place kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you would definitely like make CDs for your friends too and stuff.
Oh,
for
yeah.
mixtapes
Yeah,
and
definitely.
pass them around.
That was
Make them for the
little later.
girls, for the ladies.
That was a little later when we had
ladies.
technology, but
Yeah.
in high school or like first car stuff, not happening. Not yet. SV Expert says, you're driving down a highway with a double yellow and you get passed, and it's by either a Corvette or a BMW. Who would be the bigger douchebag? I was asked this by a BMW driver today. LOL.
The Corvette driver is never passing you, dude. The Corvette driver is in the left lane doing 5 under on their way to get like an early bird special.
Well, this sounds like he's driving down a highway with a double yellow, so they're passing him illegally around.
That's 100% a BMW driver.
Like
I've never seen
on
a
Highway
Corvette
1.
driver do that.
Yeah, so you're saying who is the bigger? I mean, they're both.
I think I need to know what kind of BMW and what color are the wheels.
It's going to be a
And I'm on Highway 1, or like maybe they're not a douchebag. Maybe it's just a big long stretch, and I'm
that's
just cruising.
Oh, I didn't catch the on one.
No, I mean I don't.
It's on
know
a
what
highway with a double yellow. So
You said
imagine
highway with
highway
double
one.
yellow, but I'm just thinking like
Or like
maybe it's a big long stretch and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
But
I think I'm going to go BMW.
yeah,
though.
the BMW guy's definitely more of a douche.
Yeah.
BMW guys in a 428i. It's got bumper damage.
and black
The
wheels.
wheels are plastic.
Because you know what, the Corvette guy, like, he might have a lawn chair and he might have Tommy Bahama on, but you're like, he's not a douche. He's just like a, I don't know, what do you call that guy? Loser?
I just feel like
Super
the Corvette
cool.
guy. He's in a yellow Corvette with chrome wheels. He flashed you like before he made the move.
Yeah,
and you're probably on a 2 mile straight.
And I think
Came
he probably
passed you and he put it back on cruise control.
passed you faster than the BMW, and it was less dramatic.
The BMW guy's like swerving and
dramatic.
stuff. Yeah.
That's what I picture. Yeti Overland is asking, mileage-wise, my air springs in my new to me Lexus GX 470 are over their expected life. Would you replace them with OEM plus, like Forerunner springs, or go aftermarket? No,
Is he talking about the
hashtag lift it,
say-
hashtag bro truck.
air springs? He's talking about the.
So it has air ride in a
Airbags.
GX, and
Yeah.
and they're I
So
guess
he's
they're
talking about placing them with conventional
Yes.
springs.
Yeah, that's a
or-
very common
I
thing.
personally really like the air ride feature, and not just for off-roading or talking about it, but I like it for towing and for loading the thing up. So I would keep the bags, and I would go with like Arnott is the go-to manufacturer for aftermarket, super high-quality airbags. And I think, I mean, at least for Land Rovers and other cars I've put them on in the past, they've been lifetime warranty.
Well, not only
So-
that, like the car he's talking about is like a 2005
Yeah,
or
GX.
right.
Yeah,
So
470,
we're
yeah.
you're looking at 10 years of service that it's not like it's going to fail immediately or have some issue. You're another 10 years of use. So I think it's use case based. Like, is he going to be out really pushing it 4-wheel drive wise? Like,
Yeah.
Because then you might not want
then
the
you might
airbags.
not want them.
True.
But if you're, like you said, towing, a boat or a trailer and using it
Also,
around
just
town,
to preserve ride quality.
yeah.
So,
a big
for
one.
instance, our friend Ruben has that car. He went to Baja, had him fail in Baja.
Yeah.
And then he's like totally screwed. So he doesn't want to be in that situation. So he got conventional springs because why have that as a part that will fail?
I had, when I was like traveling in my disco and doing some little bit of, I had the springs, but I was too lazy to ever install them, and it had replacement bags on them. So I just kept the springs.
So that thing had bags on it?
Yeah, I kept the springs
Imagine
in
the
my
ride without that.
I know.
Man,
I kept the springs in my toolkit, and they were just like, if it fails, I'll just slap a spring on there.
Uh-huh.
Just maybe a little
Just
excessive.
slap it in.
Just
No big
slap
deal.
it.
Pretty
Slap
easy.
into
I mean,
base.
it's pretty easy.
Yeah,
On both
on
the
that one.
shock.
Yeah, I don't think it's as easy on a GX. But I think
GX
Ruben,
is still a solid axle truck, right?
yeah,
It's probably like maybe a mounting plate and a spring.
Ruben went. I think he went with Icon or some aftermarket 4-wheel drive.
Sure.
Suspension and
Yeah, I mean, building
way
a
beefier.
rad off-road GX is pretty
Very cool.
Pretty good idea.
Yeah, and I
do
think
like it.
I think Yeti Overland is into that. Is about that life, as they say.
In which case, yeah, maybe the conventional springs. But
and
for
he-
the kind of thing that I would do with it, I
Yeah.
like a bag.
And then the other thing is that the air springs are one thing, but that whole system has issues, potential issues as well, like
Yeah,
the
like
little
the lines
compressor and
and
the
stuff, yeah.
lines and the
Sure. Yeah.
So you are eliminating all these other potential failures, but I agree that it's nice to have when it's working well. It's really nice. So
It does seem like it's a issue on every car that has them.
yeah,
I mean, SLS.
ABC.
It just SLS just requires
yeah,
some. I mean, every 150,000 miles, you put a set of bags on. Maybe you do some lines when the car gets really up there in mileage. But
Yeah.
it's a pretty reliable system.
But you see like E34 M5s, you see 190 Cosworths. It's always like,
SLs.
they're always
Mercedes.
like, they went out. Here's the.
Yeah, we're talking about like 30-year-old cars.
No, I know.
with
But they're
deferred
also,
maintenance.
those are really expensive to replace too.
Well,
so
but
it's-
that's the SL stuff is a hydraulic system that's way more complex than a compressor and airlines.
which one?
The Mercedes system, the
Oh.
ABC system he was
No,
talking
but I'm talking about
Oh, okay.
190,
Oh, yeah,
190
the older
Cosworths.
stuff. Yeah.
Alex Stadel says, "What are your car project limits? Meaning, when would you give up on a project and pay someone else? And when do you just push eject and sell the car entirely?"
Would literally never give up. But I would sell. I would abandon. I wouldn't be like, hey, you do it. That doesn't make any sense. I'm me.
I would, like if it
wiper
needs an
blade-
oil change, I'll
wiper
bring it
blades?
somewhere.
Yeah, wiper blades.
I'll do wiper blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's, I will say, if it's a late model car, like my wife's car is new now and it has service, never needs service, but when it does, you take it to the dealer for free. But like if it was a late model thing that was a regular car, I would take that thing somewhere at this point in my life. Like I don't want to do, and I have I don't know if I've ever actually done it, but I have certainly thought about things like when the air compressor fails in even my GTI, being like, just take somebody to the air compressor. But I end up doing that stuff mostly.
Yeah, but like an air conditioning specialist or something, right? Yeah.
I think it's tough for me. Like I don't have a rack anymore. I used to have a rack at work, and I would try to. Well, yeah, but it's really not working either. So
it's just a temporary thing.
I'm just saying, at this very moment, if something happens, I don't have a rack. So if I'm at home, like it took me an hour to swap wheels the other day.
It's painful.
So painful. And so there are definitely things now that I would gladly, punt to yourself or an expert. But there's also jobs, like you said, an oil change that are actually like not super rewarding, and they're messy and a pain in the ass to deal with.
Then you have to go throw the oil away somewhere.
And they're relatively
you have to throw it down the curb when no one's looking.
Yeah, you make a pit and then you fill it with gravel and you pour all the oil in. Don't do that. Do not do that.
On the commuter, sure. On the rally car, anything older, I just have major trust issues.
Oh no, I do too. But
trust issues.
Like my modern cars, like my wife's Lexus, I have this spot we go. It's super cheap.
Trusted person, yeah.
They just do oil changes all day long. It's $25.99 or something. It's so cheap.
They got that 500-gallon drum of.
They do. They have Castrol
name
coming out of the ceiling, literally.
Yeah.
Ceiling of Castrol. I don't know how they do it.
Those overhead automatically metering hose things are sweet.
Pretty cool. As far as like ejecting and selling the car entirely, I mean, I think that comes down to like rust or something like major where you encounter, like, you probably know that anyways, but
something beyond like your limits, and then the cost of repair is like, like it's just not worth it.
If the car has sentimental value, I think the limits can be quite high. And it obviously is based on a bunch of things: your budget, your skill set if you're DIYing, what you're capable of doing realistically,
and long-term goals for the
lifetime.
Yeah, like, your acceptance level too for like how you want the car to be, or
some people will hold onto a project car for 20 years,
and some people are totally fine driving a car with like rust holes in the fenders, and that's just the way it is.
But broadly speaking, if you picked up a car that you thought was in pretty nice shape, and then you found, like, let's say an E9, and then you took the rocker covers off and you found that it was totally rotten and actually just about to like break in half. Or a 914, this can happen with as well.
Yeah.
I think those are the.
I gave up on a 914.
You just go, no, dude.
I did it. I bought a 914 on eBay.
Write it off.
Shipped it out here. Got it. In the in the picture, everything looked good. It was like lipstick on a pig
Original
style.
miles.
And then you go and you take the rocker covers off the side, and there's steel,
thrashed,
like quarter-inch steel plate welded down the side. Shitty,
like stick weld.
Yeah, like really poorly done. And you're like, oh, that's basically making it so it's kind of level, and the doors, nothing aligns right and stuff. And then you drive it around the block, and your seat is hitting the ground because there's holes in the floor where it's mounted. And so I gave up on that car.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I welded some steel on the floor to put this seat in right, and then
see you later.
Yeah.
Andrew Fall 07 says, I prefer cars that look better in person than in photos. They are more exciting and rewarding to see in person and generally have a better street presence. Europas and Elans, E12s and E21s, GTV6s come to mind. McLarens are the opposite.
Why can't we have both? I don't.
Yeah,
I've always had a hard time with that statement.
I don't like a car that looks good in photos.
Yeah. I've never a car that looks good in photos doesn't look bad in person.
That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
How does it look good in person but not in a photo?
I think maybe what he's saying is that cars that look good in person but not in a photo, typically.
What car doesn't look good in a photo that looks good?
Like,
I mean, there are actually some.
But I always hear that term, and it's just like you just saw shitty photos of the car.
No, opposite though, right?
Yeah.
No, because they're saying cars don't look good in photos. He likes cars that don't look good in photos that look good in person.
Right.
I'm saying all cars can look good in photos.
Yeah,
he just saw bad pictures. It's usually when a car comes out and the press photo is just they took it from the wrong angle or whatever, and you're like, and it's new to you, so you kind of don't see all the angles. Then you see it in person, you walk around it, you're like, oh, actually, I can see how it's all resolved.
He's referring to older cars like Elans and stuff.
I know
those cars. I think if you take your time as shooting and you find those,
I think they look cool in photos. I've taken photos of Elans, like
totally. But there are some angles from which, and perhaps Perhaps these are cars that the typical 3/4 or front or side shot looks ungainly.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be at 40 degrees or 60, 70 degrees.
Or it needs to be moving or something.
Yeah.
So actually, he throws out McLaren F1.
No, he just said McLaren.
Oh, McLaren. But I was thinking
I was thinking modern.
I was thinking McLaren F1 because I could see a McLaren F1 in person. It still looks cool and everything, but it does look a little. They are really small, and they look a little more like Lotus-like in a way. And you're standing so high above them, you're looking at it from this angle of like down, and they actually look best when you're low.
Yeah,
and
really
more intimidating looking. And that's how you see them in pictures. It's people are getting low and they're taking these pictures of them. But when you're looking at that car, you're standing so high above it. They're so small. You're kind of like, okay, it's like this little tiny thing.
I was thinking,
and even in a 3/4 shot, there's like plenty of cars where with the camera 10 inches off the ground, it looks super cool. But as you raise that thing up, it gets to a point where you're like, that's kind of weird looking. His shapes don't line up. It's super subjective.
I was thinking more of it from the modern McLaren perspective where they photograph well, but then when you get a chance to go up next to them and look at them closely, there's like
kind of fall apart.
Yeah, it's like fit and finish issues, weird choices of surface sculpting, and like
I guess I've just lost. I'm not intrigued by the design language of McLaren. It's just everything's just swoopy and
because you have eyeballs. That's
they all sort of look the
might be why.
same.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
They went all in on that swoop. And the other one I could think of is Tesla Model S that they photograph fine in certain angles, and you get up next to them and it's like, this is terrible. Like, but I don't know if that is what he's talking about. It's more of he's talking more of a design perspective. And E12 is a good example because they are not well loved compared to E28s, BMWs. This is 5 Series, and I think they're almost the best looking 5 Series.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in like Alpina trim or something like that.
I think they are way better looking than E28s.
Yeah, and that we're definitely in the minority there. So I don't know if it's just being around them more.
Because people are dumb.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that they just you don't see them a lot, and you don't see like cool ones, right? They have M5s. They didn't. We didn't get an M.
They're dumpy.
They didn't. Yeah, they're all like on tiny 13-inch wheels, or 14s. They're all kind of like.
They're so good.
But it's hard for people to look. It's kind of like going into a house and you're like, oh, the walls are orange. You're like, yeah, you could paint the walls. Like, because a lot of times you're looking at these cars and they're on like little wheels or sitting in.
Yep.
And then you see an E28 M5. You're like, that's rad looking.
Yep. I'm with you. Noye Classic says, thinking about an 80s livery design for my 928 that plays off of the light blue metallic. Any suggestions?
I mean, Bosch liveries are always cool there, and I believe they had a light and dark blue.
But do you almost want something that's opposite of this light blue? Like something that goes with a blue, maybe it's like a red livery that plays off of it? I don't know.
Well, what was Bosch? It was like yellow or something?
It was yellow. I
remember
think
that
like yellow, white, and blue.
Yeah, remember that the Porsche at
but actually,
Motorlux had the Bosch livery with the spark plug. Wasn't that a Bosch?
Sure, I did.
Or was that your favorite car of all time?
934.5.
Yeah. Was it Bosch or was it NGK or what was it? It was Bosch.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was Bosch.
Yeah.
No, I know what that graphic looks like.
Yeah, the color though is like that yellow and red.
Yeah.
And blue.
Yeah. Yellow, red, and blue, or gold, red, and blue.
What about a DWA livery?
Oh, that'd be pretty
Yeah.
It's almost DWA blue. No, his is a little lighter.
Liveries on a 928 are
It's
a little tough because
they never really had them.
They didn't have many, and they were more like pace car style.
Right.
There was some, there's not really, and they're kind of like, they're a very smooth, like organic shaped car.
Is it the BASF one with the circles? Like the
Oh, that's always been a cool one. Yeah,
that's a cool one.
That's like a M1 Pro car.
I think that is
right?
actually that's a good call though. Just like a big like offset meatball going over the fender and onto the hood, like even blank with no number. Kind of that could be cool. And the meatballs on the door, like just something like that might look really cool on that car. But I don't know. I feel like you want to like let the lines do the work on that car in a way.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Let's that's it for questions. But I almost pretended to buy a car this week.
What?
What?
You almost pretended to buy a car.
Am I familiar with it?
Yeah, you're familiar with it. So I don't know if the listeners remember, but right as I bought this yellow car, there was an S-Class on Craigslist in LA that was extremely interesting to me. But the timing, it was just that timing, dude.
What kind of car?
It was a 1973 S-Class.
Okay.
6-cylinder, Euro bumpers, Euro headlights,
Sick.
leather interior, blue on blue. Asking a pretty reasonable price. And I basically was trying to like crunch the numbers on how to get down there. It was in Encino, like Encino Man.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. The timing was terrible. I think it was literally like going to Amelia or something. And it was on Craigslist for a little while, then disappeared. I was like, I should have reached out to him at least to like get some info. Then we talked about W116s on this podcast, and someone DM'd me a Facebook ad of that same car.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, shoot, it's back. And so I tried to find it, couldn't find it, gone again. Then random search on eBay, there's a listing for it, auction. Has a day and a half left, and it's at $6,500. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's a tough car to buy sight unseen, like your 914.
Yeah.
Like the pictures look great, but
Oh,
it kind of looks like a repaint.
Yeah. I'm sure it's when you
The paint only had 18 photos, 1 photo of the engine bay,
Yeah.
no photos underneath the car, right? And so I messaged him immediately, and I said, that's a great car. I'm super interested. I don't think I can buy it like sight unseen. So if it doesn't sell, let me know. No response. I messaged him again. He has another eBay. So the car doesn't sell. It stalls at $6,500.
Doesn't hit reserve.
Doesn't sell. Doesn't hit reserve. He has another listing for a porcelain sculpture.
Okay.
By the way, I'm guessing it's a man. I have no idea. And so I messaged him on that listing to say like, hey, I tried to contact you about the car. It'd be great to
Interested in this sculpture.
I also like
class.
weird Russian sculptures. Apparently, I'm super interested in them. No response. So I don't know what else to do. Like he's. It's
Do you
like
think it's a fake listing or something? It feels weird that it's been in like 3 places.
So it's a new set of photos from Craigslist.
Okay.
Totally new, but the ad on Craigslist was literally one line. Like drives great. I think it might be ESL. Like he doesn't speak English very well.
That makes sense.
And his username is Russian-ish, Russian adjacent. And so I think that might be part of the reason. Maybe it's just an old dude who doesn't speak English well. I don't know. That's all I have to go on.
Or maybe he had a kid post the car for him, and he's not keeping up with the.
Yeah, that it's really annoying though, and I have nothing else to go on. So I've been searching Craigslist now to see if it ends up back on Craigslist to see like.
So it's like dark blue.
It's like medium.
Okay.
And I would be willing to fly down and check it out. And on top of that, I'm going to LA in like a few weeks. So
I feel like this happens all the time with particularly Craigslist listings. You reach out to people and they just.
I know. And the cheaper the item, the more common
likely
it is. But it's pretty frustrating because literally I'm like the person who wants this car the most. And I would fly down, next week and go look at it and check it out. But I just have to put eyes on it. I don't even need like a full PPI, if it has certain issues, whatever.
But
at
least like poke under the car.
I just need to know that it's not rusty and it's, it actually starts and runs and drives okay. Or hasn't been in a weird accident.
Smashed.
It almost looks too good to be true. So I'm a little skeptical, but very rare to find that combination in California. It's got a California bar sticker, so it's compliant. It's a gray market import. Yeah.
Well, it's also pre-smog, so.
Yeah, but I think it was a Euro car to start with, so it's got that little.
But does that even matter when it's pre-smog?
I don't know, but it's already in California system, so
it's been here a long time.
Yeah, but anyways, so that's my almost story.
Tried to buy a car.
Cool, dude. You kind of tried to buy a car, I guess, or you tried to look at a car.
I wish I
tried to.
You tried to talk to a guy about looking at a car.
Tried to talk to a man about a car.
I was worried about bidding on the car, even though I didn't think it would sell for $6,500.
Yeah.
Like if I bid $6,600 and I bought it, I would have been like, "What did I do that?"
You own it, yeah.
But then if I was the underbidder and it didn't sell, he would have my info and maybe would have contacted me.
Maybe.
But I doubt it. Because it sounds pretty
Yeah,
rude.
it feels
I'm going to
a
check
little...
my eBay messages right now because maybe he's gotten back to me. But
Do you think when you drive into Encino that they have a sign that says "Home of Encino Man"?
No, they don't.
I like how you asked that so quietly.
Yeah, why are you so quiet?
Because it felt like a pretty bad joke.
No, there's no reply.
Nothing.
Do you guys? I feel like.
Oh wait. Oh,
What?
there's more.
Update.
Hello. It's a good
Oh,
start.
sick.
That's a good start.
All right.
Yes, it is. So I think he's meaning, yes, it is. But I won't be back in LA until the 6th of November to show it since I'm traveling at the moment. Cheers.
RS.
SK.
Fantastic.
Dude,
There you go, dude.
I might be
So
in.
the story,
Okay,
the saga
man.
continues, man. Now
Playing hard to get, though.
Now we can get some updates on this thing. What is it?
Yeah,
October
and it's in
16th.
Encino.
Yes, and I'm going. I could go.
Got a good 20 days to talk about this.
I know this.
Yeah, you have Radwood coming up.
Is he in Ukraine? Like, what happened? I have Radwood. I'm going down for Radwood, which is on the. That's not ideal, but I do need to maybe do a site walk through so I could fly to Encino,
What's
check out the car, buy the car, drive it to the thing.
The 19th, I believe.
Yeah, November 19th, Radwood, LA. Come on out. November 12th,
Torrance, California.
November 12th, Atlanta. Come on out.
To both shows.
Do them both.
Do 'em
Hey,
both.
your shirt
Back to
really
back.
bothers me. That little gap, dude.
This right here?
Yeah,
Oh, that
it
little-
frustrates me so much.
They did.
equal,
they,
though.
did they went really
They just-
thick with the.
They went honest, right?
They should have gone a little thicker with the stroke or thinner.
Strokes a little too something.
They just went honest.
Yeah, I don't understand what that means.
They're keeping it honest, Lane.
They should have thinned it and made that
From
area
a-
bigger
from a
or
design
thickened it
perspective.
and
Yeah, just left.
Sometimes
Yeah.
design, like art's
it go.
kind of, just
Made it go.
in the behold of the.
no, dude, that sliver
Artists.
is
The
like
ire?
Yeah, it's
they
four
should have
score.
just
Four
filled it,
score
dude.
and 7
I understand your
racetracks ago.
honesty, but that,
Yeah, no.
they should
I
have
haven't-
thinned the
I've never
stroke
actually-
overall.
I've never actually really
It
looked
does
at
have
it.
just a tiny little.
Just that is
Like,
like
back
these
in there.
gaps.
those are fine.
Those are nice,
Those are
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
This one's fine.
No, it's
That
not.
one's not working for Lynn.
But if you didn't have that gap, are you racing?
No, you weren't. If you
you
pass,
don't-
if you don't
if you
take
don't
the
leave the
gap,
Don't
gap.
take it.
take it. If
if
there's
you
no
leave
gap
a
to
gap,
take.
you're a loser.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
not first. You're last.
Sorry, I'm wrong.
I never noticed it. But thank you.
And now you're gonna notice it.
I know,
dude.
thanks a lot.
Weird little sliver.
Never wears the shirt again.
Go get
Yeah.
some white
over.
paint and just kind of fill it in, dude.
Hey, Lane, you had a little wobbly pedal on your 911. Did you fix
Oh
it?
yeah, I did. Nick helped me.
Yeah, we applied the.
So I
official-
drove to. I
official
drove.
repair method.
Yeah, I actually didn't even talk about we talked about Luft, but I didn't talk about the fact that I drove my car down there.
Yeah, and you went to Glendale for no reason?
Yeah, I went there for Persian
In
food.
rush hour traffic?
In rush hour
I
traffic.
did hear about that.
Hour and a half out of the way.
Nice.
That was super fun.
Is it the only place they have Persian food in LA?
Supposedly,
Glendale?
it's like the best place, I guess.
Yeah.
So you did a pilgrimage.
I did a pilgrimage. Yes.
It's a good-
And we did get the valet parking up front where we parked our cars ourselves. Like, hey, we're
Oh.
parking up front.
Nice,
style.
dude. Nice.
So that was cool.
Gave him the wave or something.
Yeah, it's money in hand to guys. So yeah, I drove my car down and I had this thing. So when I first got my car, I think I first noticed it going to like Forest Kugel Works open house. I hit like a
like
bumpy
forever
patch in the road and I felt this vibration through my pedal. And it was only when I hit that bump. And it happened a couple times. I'm like, oh, whatever. There's something like, and I knew, and then I rebuilt my pedal box. I'm like, okay. And then it started doing it where I would barely press the gas. And it was only when I was in like a high gear on the highway going like 60 miles an hour or something. And I would when I slightly press the gas, I could get this like kind of crazy vibration through the pedal. Like it massaged my feet essentially.
It's
It
a
felt like
rare
it was
Sonder Wish option with the,
yeah,
the massage.
just
pedal.
felt like I was massaging my foot, and then I would pedal through it. So I would go a little further on the pedal, and it would disappear, and it'd be fine. So I didn't, and it was kind of getting worse. Like in LA, it was like I would always have to go through that little spot,
Pussy part.
and it wouldn't be crazy vibration because I could give it enough, a quicker throttle, because it would usually really do it when I like barely press the gas, and it's like, so Nick and I put it up on the lift when I got home, and I had looked all over the web and I couldn't find anything, and then I finally found someone said the throttle rod might be bent and touching the CV axle. So we Put it up on the lift, and it was bent. This little throttle rod that's like seriously like
Honestly,
a
it
coat
looks
hanger.
like a shitty little coat hanger.
Yeah, it's like a coat hanger,
some
and there's no
old
upgraded
cadmium
part.
plating
Like,
on it.
it's kind of crazy, like how weak it is.
It's a weird linkage arrangement. And then afterwards,
and then
I was
it
Googling to
half
see if somebody
moons.
made some sort
No.
of like motorsportsy,
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, this is
No, and then it half moons over the CV to like clear it. But anyways, it was bent, and it was just like when you were pressing the gas, it would just touch the CV axle, which is going, however many RPMs. And obviously at freeway speed, the faster you go, the faster it's moving. Your CVs are going, your axles. So it was just touching that, and obviously vibrating the pedal.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of a satisfying fix, though, because a lot of
Super
times you have those
satisfying.
things and it's like, dude, what is going on? Is it a motor mount? Is it a...
Dude, and a lot of times you have that, you're like, okay, that's the answer I got. And then you go look and you're like, oh, it's not bent.
Yeah.
It's not
it
touching.
was actually quite a Volkswagen-esque repair because it required zero tools.
Yeah.
It just like used like a thumb.
It's rad,
just
right?
pressed on it, and
Yeah.
everything was better.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that stuff.
So we went to Velocity Invitational this week, and it was
At Laguna Seca.
pretty wild.
WeatherTech Raceway.
I gotta say that I really experienced FOMO from the Instagram pictures and talking to you guys after you went because it was not on my radar in the way that it should have been.
told
We
you
were like,
to go.
I'm going, but it was just like, it's something at Laguna, and then it was like, oh, there's McLaren Formula One cars, and there's this.
I'm surprised you didn't see anything
Looked
about it.
really badass. I mean, I've been kind of preoccupied. With stuff here at
He's
the
in a
shop.
fog, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but to your...
I've been
in-
focused.
In your defense, it wasn't well
Promoted.
advertised. Yeah,
Necessarily,
promoted.
yeah.
And it was on our radar because we did a Radwood there before twice. And it was at Sears Point originally. Then it went to Laguna Seca. Then it was supposed to be going back to Sears Point, but stayed at Laguna Seca. And then
It was originally called Sonoma Speed Fest.
that's right.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it kind of
coming
snuck
together
up on
for
us
me.
this year.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah,
there's a lot of...
it did not feel like it was a year ago.
I know
The last
there's,
one.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, that's next weekend. And so Lane and I went on a Friday, which I think was the move.
Yeah, for sure.
There was nobody there. It was a lot like the pre-reunion vibes that we're used to at Laguna Seca, almost the same amount of people. And afterwards, we were like, that might be the best motorsport thing to do
At Laguna.
at Laguna, maybe like in the U.S.
I think it is. It's
don't know.
aesthetically appealing. Because one thing they do is they're trying to have more of a Goodwood vibe, more of a premium luxury feel.
yeah.
So in a way, they kind of screw over the racers and stuff.
Well, it's funny you say that premium luxury. It's almost like they go old school,
which is like Goodwood, right?
right. But I'm saying like instead of you might picture VIP tents. It's like little picket fences and fake grass.
I guess in saying luxury, it's almost like stripping back all the modern amenities to make it feel more like races used to feel like. So it's more Goodwood than like luxurious, I would say.
It's more of a pure like experience.
Yeah. So one thing they do really cool in the pits, because part of going to Laguna Seca is that every pass is a pit pass, right? So you're in
the paddock.
Paddock pass. Every pass is a paddock pass, and you're walking through, and usually there's truck and trailers everywhere. So, you have a race team, they have a truck and trailer, they have awnings out. They eliminate all that. They don't let you park your truck and trailer in the paddock.
Unless you're Bruce Canal.
They have huge white tents spanning the whole area. You put your car, you have rolling carts of tools and everything.
Damn.
And you have, so that's what I'm
Seems
saying.
like a pain in the ass.
Yes.
to
It's
bring
not
your race
great
car
for
out.
it's
So
for,
you basically have to have like a legit pit cart,
Yeah.
then roll all your stuff out and
Yeah.
be prepared for that.
Yeah.
or like a
Rather
really good little golf cart that you're rolling back and forth. to
Yeah.
a
A lot of
trailer,
guys are going to pick stuff up.
which is like a mile away.
Times.
So what this does though is it makes it so your sight lines are really good, right?
Yeah.
Through the whole area. You could also walk through. You don't have this and it's just
It's not a maze of semi trucks.
No, and it's all cars. It's car, rather than like car, truck, truck.
And also those, as good as the reunion is for access, they're all sort of these little caves that the car, especially the high end cars, are parked under an awning against their semi truck, and you can't really get in there. Like some people are, cool with you walking around, but like you said, sight lines
feels
aren't
more
great.
like their
It's a little bit.
property.
I mean, there's
too.
a little
Yeah.
bit of like. there's a little bit of like a courtesy question there where it's like, is
Yeah.
it okay if I
Yeah,
enter
yeah.
the awning space?
This is way more open. I mean, the fact that like, you know, they had this McLaren display and there was 2 McLaren F1s with no stanchions, you know, fencing.
No
at all.
stanchions anywhere.
On the other side was an entire, you know, Ferrari supercar thing with 288 GTO up to Enzo. And again, no stanchions at all. Very like the access is incredible. And there wasn't that many people there when we were there that day, Friday. I know it was busier on the weekend, but really like we got there at 9 or 10 and it was pretty empty. Like we were, I don't know.
And then the cool thing they do, and like Reunion started kind of doing this like halfway, but the starting grid is in the paddock. So they line all the cars up in the paddock, and on either side of where they line up is a picket fence. And then beyond that picket fence is like a little runway on each side with fake grass and hay bales to sit on.
Or to stand
on. Or hang out on.
Cool.
And you're right there, and all the cars line up, so it'll be like the group.
Yeah, so that explains a lot of the shots that I saw, because I was like, what is this space where the cars
it's very
are rolling?
cool.
It looked
So-
like they were rolling out of the hot pits, but it didn't look like any other setup you'd see. That would
Yeah,
do
and
that.
like for people who haven't been to Laguna Seca or these types of events, they would typically get
So it's like pre-grid. It's not starting grid.
right,
But,
and they would back in the old days they would leave their pit area, their paddock area, drive straight to this little exit onto the pit lane and drive onto the track. You wouldn't. There was no lineup unless maybe they did it on the pits or something. But this is in the paddock. Great access, great photos. The whole group's there, and then they roll them out. You know, after a 5-minute warning.
So you have this amount of time where you're getting to see all the cars in this run group up close. You're getting to
and
walk
you've already
around.
seen them moving.
Yeah, you're
and
hearing
And
running.
you've seen them, and then you get
yeah.
to see them all start up and take off, and you know the whole thing. And some of the cars need to be pushed, and you know
then
it's
you
a
can
whole,
make your way over to the track and watch them run at speed. But the cool thing about this event is that there's a definite focus on modern performance stuff. Like when I say modern, I'm saying like post 1980. You know, like I'm not saying like brand new stuff, but
contemporary,
and not just the cars on track, but the cars in the pits. They had like this F1 display, rally, World Rally Championship stuff. They had
the
supercar
Dirtfish
stuff.
brought out like 6 to 8 rally cars.
Yep. Last year they had a McLaren Longtail, Speedtail. What do they call it?
Yeah, Speedtails.
Speedtail.
Or Longtails. Longtails? Speedtails.
Display. This year they had the McLarens, you know, McLaren F1s.
And the Ferraris.
And McLaren Formula One and I guess Road Car has been a big sponsor or big, I don't know what their exact deal is, but so Zach Brown was out driving.
what was he driving?
He was driving Senna's F1 car and doing pretty well at it too.
Good to be the boss.
Tanner Faust was driving.
I saw Tanner drive the car.
F1.
Tanner was driving the McLaren F1 race car.
Zach in it.
Yeah.
I did see that was a great picture of in the background that
the
50s Ford,
The 72.
or, I'm sorry,
Ford,
70s Ford bus, the orange bus.
So Zach Brown bought that off of Bring a Trailer, and
It was like $24,000 or something.
God, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's like an unrestored race support RV from McLaren.
So cool.
Back in the day, you know, Papaya, all that stuff. It's
super cool. And then Palau was there. What's his name? Palau from, right? Was it the Indy driver? Wasn't
Pato Award?
Pato Award was there, but wasn't Palau there as well?
I don't see. I don't know.
There
Mika Hakkinen was there.
Mika Hakkinen was there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool event, and
they had multiple Senna cars. They had a bunch of Hakkinen cars.
Zach Brown and Tanner Faust are not the same size.
No,
definitely
and that
not.
Senna car is tiny.
Oh, that was what they also
must
had.
have had a bunch of pads for Tanner or a separate seat or something.
Yeah.
They also had a great F1 display, and it's the owner of Mission Tortilla Chips.
Oh yeah.
So he has this amazing F1 collection.
So you saw some of them at the Quail.
Yeah, you saw some of the Quail. There was even more here. There was probably 10 cars, right?
It's incredible.
Or,
I think
Tortilla business is
they're
good
kept at the
business.
Peterson.
Yeah. And then he also, if you saw his little tent over by Canepa's little area, he had like a modernish, like a 997 GT3. I think he had one of the, what's her name groups? I don't know, one of those, you know, the one that
Man.
battled the one
Yes,
that
yes.
the one that battled the Corvettes. What's it called? You know that famous race at
the
Laguna
Flying
Seca,
Lizard.
Flying Lizard,
Flying
997, you know,
Yep, and that's
cup car, race car, whatever.
That's a Patrick Long car.
Pilo.
Pilo, as we call him
as we
on this
call him,
podcast. Anyways, I don't know if it's going to replace the reunion in our hearts,
Yeah.
but in our minds, maybe it already has.
Well,
and
yeah.
do you think we should camp for that next year?
Dude, it'd be super
I'm
cool.
about it.
So the cool
Plus,
thing
it's
too,
nice, still a nice time of the year.
It's a great time of the year. This year was a little foggy. We've had a weird weather, right? Like today it was like 90.
Just bring a head tent.
dude,
you know?
it was so
Don't worry about
cold.
it.
Thank you.
The day before yesterday was so cold.
We've been
and the
on a lot
night,
of
and then
drizzle.
yesterday was really hot.
Like, it could be
Today
really
was hot.
Today was
wet.
balmy, dude.
Yeah.
Today was
It's
nice.
supposed to be warmer tomorrow.
So one thing this does is they have a
Indian
little
summer.
more of the and reunions started a little more too because they have the hill climb and stuff, but they're doing these like it's like a half racing, half demos.
yes, which I
So-
like.
which is kind of
It's
cool.
less
So
serious.
Give you something
yeah,
to
so
do,
there
yeah.
was guys. There was going down the corkscrew. We weren't there live, but in the WRX Pro Drive rally car, fully sideways, dude,
Just
through the corkscrew, which is
drifting every
awesome.
turn.
And then watching all the F1 cars and the McLaren F1s, like
Yeah.
they're not out there racing, but they're setting fast times in really awesome historic cars, right?
Yeah, I think that's really important because there's only so much vintage racing you can watch and get excited for. You need those like exhibition laps of
Yeah, it's also, like,
record-setting
Can
stuff,
be-
and
it can be a little hectic with a big grid full of cars, and the race schedules tend to be really tight. So you're like, oh, who's running now? Is it
Yeah.
the 70s
yeah,
Le Mans cars, or is it this or that? I
And-
wanted to see that one. And you could get lost in this world, but the exhibition laps tend to be fewer cars on track.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more of a kind of a leisurely pace with the way they're staging the run groups throughout the day.
And I will say there's probably 50% overlap from reunion cars to this event.
Yeah.
It's just that's the way it goes. But there was enough variety, and then the way they had the whole paddock set up and just the event overall was much more interesting.
So they're running races as well,
Yeah.
but interspersed between the races, they'll have
They have,
some,
like, exhibition
so
stuff.
People go out and run a couple
Yep.
laps
Yep.
in the McLaren F1 or
Like that
whatever.
run
That's
group
cool.
with it was a F1, a pretty modern McLaren F1 car, the McLaren F1 Golf livery, and then there's like all the way down to a 355 Challenge car. Obviously
Yeah.
those aren't in the same world. And then the Corvettes and the Flying Lizard Porsches and stuff.
So the first year that they did this at Sonoma, they ran. They had Mercedes F1 team, like the F1 team. A bunch of the guys come out and support, and they had I forget who it was,
I
but
thought I saw there was some Mercedes F1.
he ran the Mercedes
This
F1 car at the one 2 years ago
Sonoma.
at Sonoma, and they beat the lap record at Sonoma. So that was
I
a big
remember
deal
hearing
to
about
watch.
that. It was
that.
very cool, like,
and then
the
they also
pit
had the
crew.
old Mercedes, like
Yeah.
like crazy 19. What are those race cars they
Yeah,
had?
50s SLRs
SLR.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Those are very
Yeah, it's a cool event. So I don't know. It's something, and also there's rumor that they might absorb the Rolex reunion or take it over.
I've never
and
heard that.
I heard a rumor about
No,
that.
someone said something.
Well, then I floated it to somebody else, and they said, "Yeah, I heard that too."
Velocity.
So I
I
don't
mean,
know.
is there a parent company involved? Or is
No.
it's just this one event.
I think it's
a guy.
an enthusiast who's really trying to
a
make it
guy.
happen.
Cool.
But we happen to know the organizer,
Yeah.
Ryan, who's a super nice guy. Radwood.
Ryan Turry.
He's helped out set up some cars at Radwood and
He
stuff.
built Rick's Safari car.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get some
Small
inside
world.
info.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, cool event. Highly recommended. It was $65 for one day, Friday. I'm sure I think it was like $125 for the weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
a camping angle next year.
yeah, for sure.
probably the worst breakfast burrito ever.
Oh, so bad.
Ever, dude?
So
Dude,
horrible.
so I think that's their, because they have some other food. They have kind of been lackluster with the food. The first year they did a rad, like they went all out with that food area.
yeah.
And I think Laguna Seca, like they have those contracts. Everything's like union, with all these racetracks. So they're like, no, you have to have our food trucks here. And they have this
Yeah.
awful like Taste of Mexico
By the
truck
way,
that's
a
there.
can of Sierra Nevada Pale
Oh,
Ale
yeah.
was $12.
Sure.
That's just not
It's
good.
Doesn't feel good. But it's
Does
the
not
racetrack,
feel
so you
good.
bring your own beer.
Well, we were just going for like a few hours. We just wanted to drink a beer and not like
fair point.
Yeah. So
You go, you camp, you make your own breakfast burritos.
Horrible breakfast burritos. At least the salsa was good rather than like when they have the little diner thing open and they give you a thing of paste picante.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's really bad.
Anyhow, and apparently this whole thing was live streamed on Goodwood's YouTube or
Yeah, it's still up there.
Yeah, our friend Ali was sitting in what appeared to be an airport
Tesla
parking lot watching it on a Tesla.
Yeah, he
That's
said,
the
"Thanks,
best.
Elon Musk."
That's the best.
What was he doing in
I
that
don't know.
sad-looking parking lot?
Who knows?
Answer us, Ali.
Waiting for something.
Yeah. So, anyways, Velocity. I hope it comes back next year. I don't know how they do financially, but like I said, from an enthusiast standpoint, it's very cool.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen the traffic on Saturday and Sunday. Just
Same
to
here.
See how it was.
I'd love to see that too. And then the other thing is like just expanding this more into the Radwood era. You know, DTM and supercar stuff, and even more F1. Like, why is it just McLaren team there? Why isn't like classic Ferrari there and doing some of that? Like on track battles would be unbelievable. And we were looking at all those F1 cars, and again, no barricades, no nothing. You could walk up, you could check them out super close up, and they're amazing to look at. Like just so many weird details. But seeing those on track like all together would be just like next level.
That'd be insane, right?
Obviously, that's like a major undertaking.
Yeah, you'd have to have all these people that like how many computers does it take to start each one of those? And
it would be unbelievable. But you know, if that's the name of the game,
you might have whole megabytes of computing power in that.
Terrible. One gig.
Yeah.
Time for trivia? Anything else?
Oh, I'm doing a little drive on Saturday.
Yeah, you just sent me the deets.
The Jana
Something.
Charity drive thing. So it's like from a winery on Skyline to Canepa for lunch.
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should be fun.
Nice.
And I'm getting my actually the reason I knew about it, Kellen's doing it, friend of the podcast, Kellen. But also Leslie, friend of the
Was he getting your
podcast,
charger back?
He was like, I'm gonna be in Scotts Valley and I'll give you I have your charger if you want to come up to Canepa and meet me, or I could drop it off at your house. Like no problem. So I knew he was going on that. So I'm like, oh, let me see about this thing. And so I just signed up.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, it's a little half day, little drive.
Cool. I actually had Friday scheduled for a little Beeline drive, but
yes,
I can't do it now. But I didn't know if that was going to happen.
I was thinking about just texting everybody and saying, hey, if anybody wants to do this Saturday thing, let's do it. Because I'm jammed up this week.
Yeah. Speaking of which, this episode will not come out in time for this work.
Yeah.
But, you know, Morning Motors, October 30th. Radwood, Atlanta, the 12th of November.
Morning Motors coming up.
SoCal, the 19th of November. What else we got after that? Oh, Coastal Range Rally.
December 2nd through 4th.
Yep, 2 through 4. And you will have emails in your possession as you're listening to this.
Oh, wow.
By the time this comes out tomorrow.
Oh, this comes out a long time from when we're recording.
A week.
Yep.
So, anyways, that's exciting. And then, then it's the new year. Huh?
Stop.
2023.
Just stop.
It's coming fast.
2023.
Just stop.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
It's trivia time, everybody. This story was kind of interesting to me because I'm into automotive audio. Are you into audio? You say no.
Nope.
This guy claims to be a music guy. I'm surprised he would say no.
I mean, what like automotive audio? What?
Do you mean like?
I mean, I have a
Kicker
cool little factory looking stereo deck on my Porsche.
That's pretty good.
But I'm not like super into audio.
He's not like putting subwoofers in the car.
Yeah, I'm not the guy that's like buying the
speakers.
old Macintosh stuff.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
Although if I had a really rad house with
it's
like a cool office, I would definitely I could see getting into some of that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've never been in that position to be into, like, I feel like it's not my passion, right? But I could see making it a small passion of mine if I had the means.
I'm going to struggle to find this article now because my freaking news thing just punted it. Stand by. Talk amongst yourselves.
I've also talked about wanting to make some some speaker boxes.
Oh.
Just for like aesthetically appealing, cool little things.
For the home?
Just whatever.
Or for
Yeah, the
car?
home. No, not the car, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely not
Well,
the car.
I actually am. I am into the concept of making like a low profile subwoofer
The
box.
car, I just want.
unobtrusively
But
fits
that's
into
the thing. In the car, I want everything hidden
Yeah.
and not visible.
You want it to be unobtrusive, but you do want to have some nice quality if
Definitely.
possible.
Quality
and if I'm going
products.
through a car and doing any kind of build,
Yeah.
I'm gonna insulate it. I'm gonna.
But
try
I'm
to-
more-
try to put nicer
I'm
speakers
kind
in
of.
than
I'm
came
more
out,
into
that kind of thing.
it from the aesthetic, like ID part, like industrial design part, where I wanted to like make some cool wood boxes that are like nice details and stuff like that for like a home, or like even a Bluetooth box that like goes on a desk or something like that.
Right.
Ironically, all of the best speakers are hideous to look at.
Yeah. So you hide them all.
I mean, most of them.
Oh, are you talking about in car?
I mean, in
Car audio?
not in the home audio.
No,
world.
that's not true.
Many of the world's finest speakers
Oh,
are
like
completely
The crazy
horrible
ones. Yeah. They
to
look.
behold.
they-
And your wife would not permit you.
They look
But
like
you can
some
put a-
sci-fi
Yeah.
weird wood thing. Or,
That's
or-
why you want to like repackage them and put like.
But you
clean
can't
grills and
because
stuff.
part of it's about them being giant and weird.
But like clips, like the classic design
Yeah.
boxes are
Some old
pretty
heresies
nice.
or
You know,
something.
like
Yeah, sure.
yeah, exactly. The Scalas.
I do like the idea of doing like a vintage, like a very period audio in like an 80s car with the Macintosh head unit and the ADS components and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're really quiet about it.
I know, it's very funny. You're like
We're talking about audio.
it's yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's also like maybe I get a little quieter when I feel a little self-conscious about the topic
Well,
I'm
that's
discussing.
awesome. That's awesome.
It's also tremendously nerdy, and I
It is,
do
but
have
you're
way
not
too
like-
many speakers at the house.
I'm with you. My Vanagon has a party speaker. I've only seen in like maybe
Whoa.
3 vans ever. And it's on the wall. So if you open the slider, that opposing wall, it has a tiny, weird shaped grill and no speaker in there.
So, but is the notion that you could kick it on while you're hanging out?
Yeah.
In the,
Wait, it has no speaker in it though.
I think the van had like an interior replacement or something at some point, and it's got the grill, and it's definitely meant for a speaker. And I've seen it in a few other vans, but I don't know if it was a dealer thing. I need to talk to like a real.
So it's
Vanagon
just
expert.
not hooked up. Are the wires behind it, or you haven't looked?
I haven't gone that far. I've taken the grill off, but I'd have to take the whole plastic panel. You know that.
are there controls back there so you could control it from? You still have to put it through the head.
Yeah.
Because that would be cool if it was like.
I know. Well, I was thinking of retrofitting a little Bluetooth speaker in there, so
Oh,
you could
that'd be
use it
rad.
Yeah,
camping and not have to turn the car
Yep.
on.
Yeah.
So Nick, when you're free, we'll talk.
It's a project we can throw into the mix.
All right, I found this article. Back to car stereos in new cars. The new Mercedes-Benz EQE has something called Dolby Atmos, and I guess it's a pretty new technology.
So it's got speakers in the. I'm gonna ruin this.
Oh no, you're
trivia.
good. And apparently Apple Music is the only one that's really offering it. In some of the top tier movie theaters as well, Atmos is available. But what it allows you to do is place sound in 3D spaces. So you can even like during the song, it will shift where the focal point of the music is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in a car, which is pretty wild.
Which is like so over the top for a car.
So over the
Very
top.
over the top of the car. I would imagine that they have speakers in the headliner.
I think that might be
achieve
true.
In a car, it's annoying because everything's
Conventional
too
Atmos
so
setups are
close,
like
anyways. Yeah, I've heard
A lot of speakers up over the top.
So this is the new Atmos option in Mercedes-Benz. How many speakers are in this vehicle?
Oh,
And this is available in the current S-Class as well. How many speakers are in the Atmos package? And it's Burmester makes this. And they call it high-end 4D. So it's not 3D sound. It's
Yeah.
4D.
It's got a whole extra D.
yeah. I'm gonna say
Entirely extra.
I'm gonna say-
4 and 4D.
I'm gonna say 40.
Oh,
40 speakers.
I'm gonna say 26.
26.
I'm gonna make a caveat here that I believe I'm counting tweeters
Well,
separately.
yeah. Oh, wait.
Sometimes
No.
sometimes they'll be housed within a mid-range, or sometimes they'll be
Yeah.
And a nerdy shit, folks. Nick wins 31.
Nice.
Is the correct
Okay,
answer.
cool.
And 8 transducers as well to specifically channel the sound through the seat and by extension through you.
Son of a bitch.
I'm not
Oh
in
yeah, sure.
Eight.
They use those in movie theaters. Now
Yeah,
too.
movie theaters. Oh, yeah.
8 transducers. So 31 speakers,
Lane
8
had a transducer
transducers.
in his throttle pedal.
That's right.
That's true. And what is this option in a current S-Class for 4D upgrade? How much?
$8,400.
Oh, I was gonna say $8,000.
It's kind of where I would be. It's actually less. $67.30. Cheap. Try making that
Cheap.
yourself. 31 speakers, 8
my
transducers.
God.
Although the one below that probably has 26 speakers.
Yeah.
Like, because that's why I went so high, because it's pretty common these days to have over 20
Yeah.
speakers.
Yeah, it's probably like 22 speakers.
Yeah.
But no transducers, maybe.
Yeah.
I want to try it, though. I love a good audio sound system. And it's one of the better places to listen to music anyways, the cavernous, well insulated.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want it like bouncing, if you want it going all these different places in a car.
Well, the thing is that Atmos in a like home theater context, like all these new movies are being mixed for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna listen to? I got to listen to some weird ass new song that somebody did that was mixed in Atmos because
Yep.
there's no recorded music in this format yet.
Yeah.
It's like when they in the 70s they did quadraphonic,
Yeah.
and people would make albums specifically for this like double stereo arrangement.
Well, it's like Beatles went from mono to stereo, and they were exploring with all that stuff, and it's just pushing it further and further. But I imagine there'll be a time where a car has 50 speakers, and each sound is almost feels like it's around you, right? Like you're not. It's hard to explain, but it's you're in the sound.
But I wonder what percentage of recording artists and what segment of the music industry is going to be like, you know what, we got to mix this.
Well, also, do you want to hear it like that? I mean,
Or
the
will
way
it just
you
be
usually.
up converted by Apple Music and Spotify
Maybe.
or whatever?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think you.
I have a hard
like
time
that.
with it a lot of times. Like, I don't want to hear like the bass over here and then the treble way over here.
Sometimes it's too much.
like
for
it's
sure.
way too much. Like when I'm listening to it, when I'm going to a concert or something like that, everything's coming at me from the same place.
Well, not really, because they place those speakers in different areas.
Yeah, but they're not mixing it where like it's mixed all
It's not
together.
like sounds are like flying. from
Yeah,
behind
exactly.
you, ahead
But
of you
maybe
or
they would
doing some
prefer it
crazy
could
shit.
be that, and in the future you'll be in that
I'm
situation.
not living in the future, dude. I'm living in the now.
Dude, when you go to the
To be
orchestra,
fair, when you listen to music, you're living in the past because we're all old dudes.
Lane, when you go to the orchestra
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're sitting there, you pick your seat accordingly. You want
Yeah,
to be
of
next to the
course.
wind section.
No, I like to
Right?
be in the middle. I like to hear it all, dude.
Vroom, that guy. Mm-hmm. All right, that's a podcast.
I'm all about drum fills.
I know. All right.
All
Well,
right, guys.
I want to try it. That's all I have to say.
Bye.
Adios.
See you.